Your enemies aren't plotting against you in secret meetings. They're doing it right in front of you, and you're too polite to see it. Machiavelli watched kingdoms fall, not because of war, but because kings refused to accept one simple truth. Niceness is not a strategy. If you think being a good person protects you, you've already lost. The world is a battlefield disguised as a social gathering, and while you're smiling and playing fair, someone else is quietly taking everything you think is yours. They're not doing it with violence. They're doing it with strategy. They're doing it while you sleep, while you trust, while you believe that fairness matters. Look, I'm not here to make you feel comfortable. This channel isn't about motivation. It's not about positive thinking or manifesting your dreams. It's about domination. Domination of your mind, your emotions, your reality. Most self-help tells you to be yourself and stay positive, to follow your heart and trust the universe. Machiavelli would call that suicide, because the world doesn't reward authenticity. It rewards control. It rewards those who understand the game and play it better than everyone else. Here's what nobody tells you. The game is already being played. Right now. In every conversation, every interaction, every moment of silence, every smile, every handshake, every word. The only question is whether you're a player or a piece. And if you don't know which one you are, you're the piece. You're being moved across the board by people who see 10 steps ahead, while you're still trying to understand the rules. Before we start, ask yourself this: am I building power, or am I being used by those who have it? Am I the one making decisions, or am I reacting to decisions other people make? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. Now let's destroy some comfortable lies that are keeping you weak. Let's burn down the illusions that society built to keep you controllable. People don't respect what you are. They respect what they think you are. Let that sink in. Your actual skills, your actual intentions, your actual character, none of that matters if the perception doesn't match. Machiavelli said, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand." Translation: your image matters more than your intentions. Your actions matter less than how those actions are perceived. Reality is irrelevant. Perception is everything. Here's the test. Think about the last time someone disrespected you. Really think about it. Replay that moment in your mind. Now ask yourself this: did they disrespect the real you or the version of you that you allowed them to see? Because I guarantee you they responded to the image you projected, not the person you believe yourself to be. They saw weakness where you thought you were showing humility. They saw uncertainty where you thought you were being thoughtful. They saw an opening where you thought you were being kind. Most people leak weakness without realizing it, over-explaining decisions as if they need permission to exist, as if their choices require validation from people who have no stake in the outcome, apologizing for existing, for taking up space, for having opinions. Have you noticed how often you say sorry for things that don't require apology? That's training. You're training people to see you as someone who needs forgiveness for breathing, seeking approval in every conversation like a dog begging for scraps. Every statement ending with a question mark, every opinion prefaced with, "I might be wrong, but," every decision followed by, "What do you think?" Every word you speak is a negotiation. Understand this. Language is power. Communication is warfare. And most of you are negotiating from your knees. You think you're being polite. You think you're being humble. You think you're being a good person. But what you're really doing is training people to disrespect you. You're giving them permission to walk over you. You're showing them that your boundaries are suggestions, not walls. Stop defending yourself. Listen carefully. A king doesn't explain his decisions to peasants. He decrees and moves forward. When you explain, you're asking for approval. When you decree, you're stating reality. There's a massive difference. Stop oversharing your plans, your struggles, your insecurities. Every detail you share is ammunition. Every vulnerability you expose is a target. Mystery creates respect. Familiarity creates contempt. This is human psychology. The more people know about you, the more ammunition they have against you. The less they know, the more they respect the space you occupy. The more they wonder, the more they imagine. And imagination always makes you more powerful than reality. Start asking yourself before you speak. Does this make me look stronger or weaker? Does this give them power over me, or does it reinforce my position? Does this serve my interests, or am I just filling silence because I'm uncomfortable? If it's not strategy, it's self-sabotage. Your reputation isn't built by being good. Being good is invisible. Nobody builds statues for good people. They build them for great people. Your reputation is built by being undeniable, by being the person who cannot be ignored, cannot be dismissed, cannot be forgotten. Drop this in the comments. I control what they see. Now here's where most people fail. They hear control your image and they think that means faking it, wearing a mask, pretending to be someone they're not, lying about who they are. Wrong, dead wrong. That's not what Machiavelli taught. It means weaponizing the truth. It means choosing which truths to reveal and which to keep locked away. Because not everyone deserves access to your full story. Not everyone has earned the right to know your struggles, your doubts, your fears. You give that away freely and you give away your power. And that brings us to the second truth. One that will make you deeply uncomfortable. One that will make you question every relationship you have. One that might make you angry. But anger doesn't change reality. It just blinds you to it. Let me shatter something for you. Nobody is loyal to you. Read that again. Nobody is loyal to you. They're loyal to what you provide. Machiavelli wrote that friendships obtained by payments may be lost when the payments stop. This isn't cynical. It's liberating. Once you stop expecting loyalty, you stop getting destroyed by betrayal. You stop being surprised when people leave. You stop being hurt when they choose themselves over you. You stop wasting energy on shock and disappointment. Because you finally understand that this is human nature, not personal attack. Think about it. Really think about it. Your friends stick around because you're fun, useful, or validating. You make them laugh. You help them move. You listen to their problems. You make them feel good about themselves. Remove the entertainment value and watch how fast the invitations stop. Stop being fun and see who calls. Stop being useful and see who needs you. Stop validating them and see who stays. Your partner stays because their needs are being met. Emotional, physical, financial, whatever the currency is in your relationship, the moment those needs stop being met, the moment a better option appears, loyalty becomes negotiable. Your employees work because you pay them. Stop paying them and see how loyal they are. Your followers follow because you provide value. Stop posting and see who remembers your name. Remove the value and watch how fast loyalty evaporates like morning mist under sunlight. This is not a reason to be bitter. Bitterness is weakness. This is a reason to be strategic. It's a reason to stop living in fantasy and start operating in reality. Never make yourself dependent on anyone's loyalty. Build systems, not friendships. Structure, not sentiment. Systems don't betray you. Systems don't wake up one day and decide they don't like you anymore. Systems function based on design, not emotion. A well-built system protects you when human nature reveals itself. Ask yourself this. If this person betrayed me tomorrow, would I survive? Would my life collapse? Would my business fail? Would my emotional state shatter? If the answer is no, you've given them too much power. You've made yourself vulnerable in a way that no strategist ever should. You've built your kingdom on sand instead of stone. Loyalty is a bonus. Self-sufficiency is the foundation. Stop trusting people's words. Words are the cheapest currency in human interaction. Anyone can say anything. Promises cost nothing. Start tracking their patterns. What do they do when it's inconvenient to be loyal? What do they do when no one is watching? What do they do when loyalty costs them something? That's who they really are, not their words, their actions under pressure. And when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Don't make excuses, don't rationalize, don't give them chances to explain. Don't wait for the second betrayal to confirm what the first one already told you. The first betrayal is information. The second is your fault. Drop this, I expect nothing, I prepare for everything. But here's the paradox. And this is where most people get confused. If everyone is self-interested, how do you influence them? How do you build anything in a world where everyone is looking out for themselves? You can't control people by being nice. Nice guys finish last because they refuse to acknowledge the game. They think fairness will protect them. It won't. But you also can't control them by force. Force creates resistance. Force creates enemies. Force is expensive and unstable. So what's the answer? What did Machiavelli discover after watching empires rise and fall? after advising princes and observing human nature at its rawest. Machiavelli asked the question that defines leadership. Is it better to be loved or feared? His answer: feared, but never hated. Here's why. Love is conditional. People love you until they don't, until you disappoint them, until someone better comes along, until the feeling fades. Love is chemistry, love is emotion, and emotion is unreliable. Fear is structural. People fear consequences, not emotions. Fear is predictable. Fear is controllable. Fear lasts as long as the structure remains. But here's what amateurs miss. Fear without value creates enemies. If people fear you and gain nothing from you, they'll work to destroy you the moment they can. Fear with value creates followers. They respect the boundaries and benefit from the relationship. You don't need people to like you. Stop chasing likability. You need them to respect your boundaries. You need them to understand that crossing you has a cost. Make the cost of crossing you greater than the benefit. But also, and this is critical, make the reward of aligning with you undeniable. This is how you build influence without manipulation. This is how you create loyalty that's actually sustainable, not based on emotion, but based on mutual benefit and clear consequences. Be useful. People respect those they need. If you bring nothing to the table, you have no seat at it. Develop skills, build resources, become someone whose presence adds value. Be unavailable. Scarcity creates demand. The person who's always there becomes furniture. Nobody values furniture. Nobody thinks about it. Nobody appreciates it until it's gone. The person who appears selectively becomes an event. Their presence matters because it's rare. Be consistent. This is crucial. Unpredictable anger is chaos. It makes people walk on eggshells. It creates anxiety. Predictable consequences are power. When people know exactly what happens when they cross a line, they don't cross it. Not out of love, out of respect for the system. You're not trying to be a villain. Villains are emotional. Villains create chaos for the sake of chaos. You're trying to be unignorable. There's a massive difference. A strategist creates structure that benefits everyone who plays by the rules. Clear boundaries, clear rewards, clear consequences. When people know you reward loyalty and punish betrayal without emotion, without drama, without ego, they self-select. The weak leave. They can't handle accountability. They want a world where actions don't have consequences. The strong stay. They respect the clarity. They appreciate knowing where they stand. Drop this. I am feared because I am fair. Now most people hear this and think, so I should be cold and calculated. So I should shut down my emotions and become a robot. So I should stop feeling. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. You should be calm and calculated. There's a massive difference. Cold means emotionless. Calm means controlled. And that's the next truth. One that separates amateurs from masters. One that determines who controls the room and who gets controlled by it. Here's the brutal truth. Whoever gets emotional first loses every single time without exception. Machiavelli knew that the appearance of rationality is more powerful than actual rationality, because when you stay calm while others panic, you become the anchor. You become the point of stability in a storm, and people gravitate towards stability. They follow it. They trust it, even if it's just an illusion. Even if inside, you're calculating every move. Look at any argument you've lost. I want you to really think back. Chances are you lost your composure first. You raised your voice. You started defending yourself frantically. You got triggered. You said something you regretted. And the moment you did, you handed them the victory. When you raise your voice, you've admitted you have no better argument. When you insult someone, you've admitted they got to you. When you storm off, you've admitted you can't handle the pressure. Every emotional reaction is a confession of weakness. It's showing your cards. It's revealing what breaks you. Train yourself to pause before reacting. This is a skill, it's not natural. Your brain is wired to react instantly to threats. It's survival programming from when threats were physical and immediate. But you can rewire it. Every insult is a test. Every provocation is bait. The person who can sit in silence while others explode controls the room. They control the narrative. They control the outcome. Here's the advanced move. When someone tries to trigger you, smile. Not smugly, not sarcastically. Calmly. A genuine, slight smile. That smile says you don't have the power you think you do. That smile says, I see what you're trying to do, and it's not working. And that breaks them. Because they just threw their best punch and you didn't even flinch. They revealed their strategy and you remained unmoved. Master your face. Your face is a broadcast. Every micro-expression sends a message. Master your tone. Tone carries more meaning than words. You can say anything if your tone is controlled. Master your timing. Sometimes the most powerful response is waiting 3 seconds longer than feels comfortable. Emotion is your weapon, but only when you deploy it strategically, not when it deploys you. When you choose to show anger, it's terrifying because it's rare. When you're always angry, you're just noise. People tune out noise. Drop this. I respond. I do not react. You're halfway through. And if you're still here, you're already different from 90% of people. Most people clicked away after the first minute because they wanted comfortable lies. They wanted someone to tell them they're perfect as they are, that they just need to be themselves. You stayed because you want uncomfortable truth. You stayed because you're willing to look at reality without filters. But the next 3 truths, they're the ones most people can't handle. Especially truth number 5. This one is going to challenge everything you think you know about communication, everything society taught you about being open and expressive. Most people talk because they're uncomfortable with silence. Silence feels like pressure. Silence feels like something went wrong. They explain. They justify. They fill every gap with noise because silence feels like failure. Silence feels like someone has to fill it, and they volunteer to be that person every single time. Machiavelli understood something most people never learn. The less you say, the more weight your words carry. When you talk all the time, your words become background noise. People stop listening. They nod, but they don't hear. When you speak rarely, people lean in. They pay attention. They remember. Silence creates 3 things. Mystery. People can't predict you. They can't put you in a box. They can't figure out your pattern. And humans fear what they can't predict. Authority. Kings don't beg for attention. They don't need to convince anyone of their importance. Their presence is enough. Silence communicates that you don't need validation, control. You force others to reveal themselves first. You force them to show their cards while yours remain hidden. In any negotiation, any confrontation, any conversation, the person who speaks less has more power. Stop explaining yourself to people who didn't ask. Stop defending decisions to people who won't be affected. Every explanation you give without being asked is a leak of power. It's you seeking validation. It's you admitting that their opinion matters more than your conviction. When someone questions your decision, sometimes the most powerful response is silence, or a simple, I've made my decision. No justification, no defense, just finality. In negotiations, let the silence hang. Whoever speaks first loses leverage. This is a documented fact. Salespeople know this. Master negotiators know this. The person who gets uncomfortable with silence and fills it first reveals their desperation. They show their hand. They make concessions. Stay silent and watch people negotiate against themselves. In confrontations, stay quiet longer than feels comfortable. Count to 10 in your head. Watch them spiral into assumption. Watch them project their insecurities onto your silence. They'll tell you what they're afraid of without you asking. They'll reveal their weaknesses trying to fill the void. The world is loud. Everyone is screaming for attention. Social media is a constant stream of look at me, listen to me, validate me. Be the exception. Be the stillness in the chaos. When you do speak, make it count. Make it final. Your voice should be rare enough that when it appears, people listen. Not because you're loud, but because you're selective. The scarcest resource gets the most value. Make your words scarce. Drop this. My silence speaks louder than their noise. Now here's where it gets dangerous. Because power without distance becomes a trap. You can have all the control in the world, master every technique, but if you're always present, you lose it all. And that's truth number 6. This is the one that most modern advice gets completely backward. Society tells you to be available, to be present, to always show up. Machiavelli knew better. You know what kills respect faster than anything? Constant availability. Machiavelli watched leaders lose power not because they were weak, but because they were everywhere. They said yes to every meeting. They responded to every message instantly. They attended every event. They made themselves so available that they became ordinary. When people can access you anytime, you become ordinary. You become a tool they use when convenient. When you're scarce, you become essential. You become something they have to work for, something they value because it's not guaranteed. Stop being the person who always replies instantly. You're training people that your time has no value, that you're sitting around waiting for their message, that you have nothing more important to do than respond to them. Stop being the one who shows up to everything. Your presence should be an event, not a guarantee. When you show up to everything, your presence means nothing. Create intentional distance, not to play games, not to manipulate, but to preserve your energy for what matters. Not every invitation deserves your presence. Not every message deserves an immediate response. Not every problem deserves your attention. Here's the test. If you disappeared for a week, would people notice? Would they reach out? Would they wonder where you went? Would they feel your absence? If yes, you have value. You've built something that matters. You've made yourself essential. If no, you've been giving yourself away for free. You've been so available that you've become invisible. Think about that. The most available people are the most invisible. Absence is not abandonment. It's strategy. It's the understanding that presence loses impact when it's constant. The moon doesn't shine every night. That's why people look up when it does. That's why poets write about it. That's why it's special. Be the moon, not the streetlight. The streetlight is always there. Nobody notices it. Nobody appreciates it. Nobody talks about it. The moon appears and people stop and stare. They take pictures. They make wishes. Scarcity creates value. Drop this. My presence is earned, not assumed. Everything we've covered leads to one final truth. The one Machiavelli believed mattered most. The one that sits at the foundation of everything else we've discussed. The one that determines whether you build an empire or become a slave. Because you can master your image, you can expect betrayal, you can weaponize silence, you can create distance. But if you don't master this, none of it matters. All the techniques in the world are worthless if this foundation is broken. Every empire, every fortune, every legacy, it all started with one disciplined mind. Machiavelli said the first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. But the real test, look at the thoughts you allow in your head. Look at what you permit to occupy your mental space, because your environment is a reflection of your internal state. Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. Show me your thoughts, and I'll show you your destiny. Most people are ruled by other people's opinions. They make decisions based on what others will think. They choose careers their parents approve of. They stay in relationships because of what people will say if they leave. They avoid risks because they're terrified of being judged. Their own past failures. They let one mistake define them for years. One rejection becomes, I'm not good enough. One failure becomes, I can't do this. Fear of future rejection. They avoid risk because they're terrified of being hurt again. They build walls so high that nothing can get in, including opportunity. They think they're free, but their minds are occupied territory. They're living in a prison they built themselves. A prison with invisible bars made of should and what if and I can't. Every morning ask yourself this: who is running my mind today, me or my emotions? Am I in control or am I being controlled by whatever stimulus comes my way? Am I choosing my thoughts or are they choosing me? You cannot control the world. The world is chaos, the world is unpredictable, the world will throw everything at you. But you can control your reaction to it, and that reaction determines everything. It determines your peace, your progress, your power. Train your mind like a guard dog, aggressive toward weakness. When weak thoughts enter, attack them immediately. Question them. Where did you come from? Are you true? Are you useful? Protective of your peace. Don't let external chaos penetrate your internal calm. Build walls, set boundaries. Guard your mental space like it's sacred territory. Because it is. Loyal only to your mission, not to comfort, not to pleasure, not to what's easy. Your mind should serve your goals, not your fears. When insults come, observe them. Don't absorb them. Watch them like clouds passing in the sky. Interesting, this person is triggered. What does that tell me about them? When fear appears, interrogate it. Ask it what it wants. Ask it if it's real or imagined. Most fear is fantasy. Feel the feeling, but don't obey the command. Don't obey it blindly. Your thoughts are soldiers. If you don't command them, they'll turn on you. They'll sabotage you. They'll destroy you from within. Every successful person you admire has mastered this. They've learned to rule their internal kingdom before trying to rule anything external. Drop this. I am the king of my own mind. Let me be clear. These 7 truths won't make you popular. They won't make you comfortable. They won't get you invited to parties where people exchange comfortable lies and pretend everything is fine. But they will make you untouchable. They will make you the kind of person who cannot be shaken by circumstance, who cannot be moved by chaos, who cannot be broken by pressure. Because power doesn't come from being liked. Power comes from being undeniable. It comes from building yourself into something so solid that nothing can move you, nothing can shake you, nothing can break you. Machiavelli didn't write for the weak. He didn't write for people who wanted to feel good. He wrote for those willing to see reality as it is, not as they wish it to be. He wrote for people who understand that the world is not fair, but it is navigable. The game is rigged, but you can still win if you understand the rules. So here's your choice. Keep playing nice and watch others take what's yours. Keep being available and watch your value disappear. Keep reacting emotionally and watch people use it against you. Keep explaining yourself and watch respect evaporate. Or step into the protocol. Control your image. Stop leaking weakness. Expect betrayal. Build systems that protect you. Master your emotions. Respond, don't react. Weaponize silence. Speak less. Impact more. Create distance. Make your presence valuable. Rule your mind. Command your thoughts before they command you. This is the Machiavelli Protocol. This is how you become untouchable. Not cold, not heartless. Untouchable. If you made it this far, you're ready. You're different. You're not looking for comfortable lies. You're looking for uncomfortable truth. Hit subscribe. This is just the beginning. We're building something here, an army of people who refuse to be controlled, who refuse to be weak, who refuse to play the game blindly. Drop your most powerful affirmation in the comments. Let's build an army of untouchable minds. Next video, the 3 sentences that make people respect you instantly. Sentences that shift power dynamics immediately. See you there. Now go rule. If you're ready to take these strategies beyond theory, check the pinned comment. The link I left there is the next step to becoming truly untouchable.